Morning, guys. Sorry about this again. The city of Cobb County has decided that they need me yet again for another wonderful day of jury duty. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this review. So, your quiz is going to be on my math lab. So, you're going to have the same opportunity to get a 100 as if you were taking a regular My Math Lab assignment. So what you see on this quiz is what you're going to see on my math lab. Or on this quiz review, excuse me. So you guys need to just work through this, practice it, get really good at everything you see on this review. That's what's going to be covered on your quiz. What you're not going to see are any given statement reasons. Okay, you're not going to see any proofs. You are going to see maybe some minor vocabulary like the top. Some assumptions. Can I assume? Solving angles using your parallel line cut by transversal theorems. Conditional statements. And then this part, it's really just practice, and I wanted to make a video that kind of went along with it. So from 23 and up, so I'll even make a line right here. So you guys know, everything below this highlighter is not going to be on the quiz tomorrow. Everything below the highlighter will not be on the quiz tomorrow. Let me say it again. Everything below the highlighter will not be on the quiz tomorrow. Okay, so let's take a look at the front page. I want to just work through some of the stuff with you. And then I want to work on these bottom ones with you as well. Just because I think the more you guys see it, the more we practice it, is going to help a lot. So that's vocab stuff. That's stuff you can do. What I want to look at is the math that goes along with these. So the number 10, angle 1 measures 2x plus 25. Now it's important to note that each problem is independent. They're not going to carry over from one problem to the other. So the answer for 10 doesn't help us with the answer for 11 and 12. They're all independent. So it tells us that angle 1 is 2x plus 25. And angle 5 is 3x minus 37. Okay, so what we have is we've got our parallel lines that are being cut by our transversal, and the relationship that exists between these two angles up here and down there, that is our corresponding angles. And like you guys know, corresponding angles are congruent. So when I set up my equation, I'm going to set my two problems equal to one another. So 2x plus 25 equals 3x minus 37. Okay, guys, so now we've just got our basic linear algebra. So we're going to go ahead and solve for x. So my first step, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I'm subtracting 2 because I like to keep my x positive as much as possible. You guys can solve either way. So that when I do that, I cancel out my 2x, so I get 25 equals x minus 37. Okay, one more step to isolate our x. We're going to add 37 to both sides. So we know x equals 62. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that degrees. So x equals 62. What we've got to do now is we're going to take our x value. Let's draw a little line so you guys can see our flow. We're going to take our x value and substitute it into either angle 1 or angle 5 so we can deal with our angle 3, which is what it wanted. So angle 3 is what it wants us to find. So I'm going to use angle 3 just because it shows that same side interior angle. So the measure of angle 5 is 3. We substitute in our 62 minus 37. 3 times 62 is 186. And then 186 minus 37 is 149. So the actual measure for that angle, so I'm going to erase this part here. The actual value for angle 5 is 149 degrees. Now we can lean into that angle relationship we see between 3 and 5, and we can solve for angle 3. So we know that the measure of 5 plus the measure of 3 is 180, because those are same side interior angles. We're going to substitute the value for 5 of 149, and we're just going to solve for angle 3. So we're going to subtract 149 from both sides. So we know the measure, the measure of angle 3 is 31 degrees. So again, that is number 10. So number 10, now we're gonna reset our picture because number 10 does not influence number 11. So number 11, it says measure of angle 6 is, let's go green, let's go completely blue this time. The measure of 6 is 6x squared, and the measure of 4 is 14x squared. Well, we just saw this relationship right here. That's our same side interior. And we know that relationship is supplementary. So we're just going to set it up again. So we know the measure of 6 plus the measure of 4 gives me 180 degrees. Substitute the values we know. We know 6 is 6x squared and 4 is 14x squared. Okay? Don't let this square scare you guys right now, okay? Remember, when we deal with our square, we're just going to solve like it's a normal problem, and then you'll see how that quadratic factors in at the end. So we're going to combine like terms on the left side. So I get 20x squared equals 180. Again, we're trying to isolate that variable, so we're going to divide both sides by 20. So we know x squared equals 9. Now that we've got that quadratic completely isolated, right, we're going to square root both sides. You see how the math problem gave us this nice, pretty, perfect square number? Because math is our friend. So we get x is 3. Well, the question was not what is x, but what is angle 4? Well, we've got the value of x, so we're just going to take and we're going to substitute x into the problem. So we know the measure of 4 is 14x squared. We want to substitute 3 in to our problem. So I get 14 times 9, and then 14 times 9 is 126. So we know that the measure of angle 4 is 126 degrees. All right. Our last problem in this section is a doozy. Okay, it's going to really tap into your algebraic skills. It's going to make you factor. It's going to make you find two solutions. So let's get cracking. All right, if the measure of angle 4 is x, negative x minus 60, plus 60, I'm sorry. And the measure of angle 5 is x squared plus x minus 20. So those are alternate interior angles, which we know to be congruent. So we're going to set our two angles equal to one another. So we got negative x plus 60 and x squared plus x minus 20. All right, so here's where it gets fun. So this time the quadratic is not going to be as easy as it was in 11. I am going to, since I have a quadratic term, a linear term, and a constant term, I'm going to have to factor to solve my problem. So in order to do that, I need my equation to be equal to 0. So in order to do that, I want to add x to both sides. And I'm also going to subtract 60 from both sides, because I need 0 to be on that left side. So what's going to happen is those are going to cancel out, leaving me 0 on the left. And then x squared plus 2x minus 80. Okay. Now I'm going to rewrite it to my equations on the left, just so you guys don't freak out on me. Okay. And now I'm going to factor my trinomial. Remember, I need two numbers that multiply to give me negative 80 and add to give me positive 2. Right? And those two numbers are x plus 10, x minus 8. Okay, I know the 10 is the larger number because my middle number was positive. Now from here, I'm going to use my zero product property, and that is if two numbers multiply to be 0, then separate they are also 0. So x plus 10 equals 0, and x minus 8 equals 0. From here, it's just simply solving for my two problems. So I know x is 10 and x is 8. So this is where our biggest problem is going to come into play. Because we have two solutions, there are two possible answers for this same question. Don't worry on your quiz, I'm not going to do this to you, but I believe it is wonderful practice for you guys to work on your algebra skills so you can not lose those things for when you get to Algebra 2. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both negative 10 and 8 and substitute it in to 4. Angle 4 is going to get substituted negative 10, negative 10, and, okay, and it's going to get substituted in 8. So we have to have both of our values into this expression. So the measure of angle 4 is both 70 degrees and 52 degrees. Now what could have happened is one of our angles could have ended up negative, and like you guys know, we can't have a negative angle, so that would have been an extraneous solution. But here we've got two positive angles, so we've got two possible solutions. All right. Now let's substitute in and solve for my possibility of angle 6. So we know angle 6, okay, it either could be 110, which is 180 minus 70. Okay, so it could be 110, or it could be 128, which we got from 180 minus 52. So I've got two possible solutions here. So that'll be the first video, guys. I'm going to do a second video for the last 4 on the next page. Thank you.